Rachel here from Beads by Verchiel, bringing you this Thursday tutorial time. Hope you're all well. I'll chat away for a bit while I just wait for you all to hop on. Hopefully, fingers crossed, no Facebook problems tonight. So if you are with me, whether you're with me live, particularly if you're with me live so I can enter you into the giveaway, do give me a thumbs up. And do pop me a note in the comments so I know you were present. Excuse me while I just switch across. There you go. The comments are coming through. They take a little bit of time. Good evening, Jay. You're the first one in the house tonight. I hope you're all well. So this evening, I thought I would demonstrate the bead embroidery pendants, because the last times that I've actually had them on the craft store, I haven't actually had opportunity to demonstrate them. I have done something very, very similar before, but it was without having the printed beading foundation. So I thought the opportunity to actually show you, and I can show you what's actually inside of the kit as well. I can only presume that it's taken a little while. Oh, are you there? For the comments to come through. Yes, there they are. Hello Kay, hello Lynn, hello June, hi Carol, hi Anne. It's lovely to have you all join. So obviously I will be doing the usual giveaway. I'll show you the giveaway in a bit, but if you could help simplify it for me and give me a thumbs up and a comment so I can ensure that I don't miss you all. Right. What have we got? Let me show you some of the options. I know a couple of you have been buying the kits already, and as a little extra until the end of the month, I'm going to actually include an extra printed foundation. I did have one, but it's disappeared. Anyway, I'm sure it'll pop up in a minute. So I'm going to give you, yes, I knew it would be. I've just been tidying things up. So I'll pop you an extra one of these in and an extra back in so that you've got another, you can do another one. So these are the options that you have. This is a lovely little project that you can normally complete within an evening or a couple of evenings. If you've never done bead embroidery before, this is a lovely introduction to it as well. So first of all, we've got the gold and black diamond. So we stitch onto the foundation here. It's all Czech beads, and these are Czech fire polished at the bottom. You get everything in the kit. You get the needle, the thread, the chain, which you will need your tools to custom make, and the crystals, the centre bead. So you've got everything in there. So that's your black diamond. I do apologise, I think I've updated it now, but I've got a terrible habit of copying and pasting without actually checking what I'm doing. And I think they're all the same colour according to my description, but I've now updated them. That's the blue and purple. And these are from the Terra Intensive Czech range as well. And then you've got this like silver-like drapes as well, beads. The one I'm wearing is hot pink and purple, so I think it's called Terra Magenta and Terra Lilac. Well, it's lilac, I don't know, it's not lilac, is it? It's pink, purple, sorry. I'm getting myself all confused. And that's the hot pink and the lime, which I don't think the pictures do it any justice. I love that, and I think that'd look so nice with either a denim shirt or a white shirt and a real nice beachy sort of feel to it. Have I missed any? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's, have I shown you this one? I think I did. Maybe I didn't. The blue and the sea green. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 5 colourways as well. I'd love to know which one's your favourite. It's always really difficult when you're designing kits. I think you can't go wrong with purple, but I know I'm slightly biased. Purple and sea green are my favourite colours. I love them. I thought it'd be nice to put the gold one in there, which, to be honest, I don't wear a lot of gold, but I like wearing that gold. It goes with everything. And also you can make a smaller version to get matching earrings, or if you're watching the show on Saturday, as Janice said, you can go big and bold and do earrings this size. So that was black, that is the hot pink and lime, and this I've actually, it's on timer, I'm not sure if it's in the thread at the moment, but you also can buy a pack that I've put together of 10 different coloured seed beads, and these two colourways are in there as well. What else can you get? If you want to use your own beads, you can buy these, which have got 4 printed foundation and 4 backing. Those are $4.75. What you get in your kit, so you've got the backing and the printed foundation, the thread, the needle, the chain and all the findings, your accent beads, all your seed beads, your little beads and your crystals. Now I can only presume that I'm not getting all of the comments, because I know you normally have a good old chat and I can't actually see any more comments after Anne. So if you are commenting, firstly, I apologise for not acknowledging. I can only presume that it's one of the blips of Facebook again tonight. So I will go back and have a look at all of your comments, but I'm hoping that they're going to come up again sometime soon. Oh, yes, they have. I've gone all fuzzy. Oh dear. Frizzly. Hi, Mum. I hope I'm not frizzly fuzzy anymore. Oh, Betty, yes, thank you for buying the black diamond kit. That was her favourite. She doesn't usually use that colour combination. So I hope I'm going to get these through now. Anyway, so in the kit, you get all the colourway, all the instructions written and photographed as well. So you've got step by step. Have I got anything else to show you? I don't think so. I have got some of the crystals to actually put online. I won't be putting those online today. I'll put them on over the next couple of days. I think that's it for now. So what I'm going to do is crack on and show you the demo. Oh, I'm so disappointed I'm not getting all your comments, but perhaps that's, do you know what? I'm going to close up my laptop because I always have problems with it. Bear with me a second. I'm going to switch my laptop off as well. And that normally makes a bit of a difference. So bear with me. It's probably my own doing. Right. So what I'm going to do, so if you are joining me for the first time, I do the demonstration, I'll get up close and then I'll come back to you. All being well, I'll be able to see all of your questions. Let's move all of those out of the way. Okie dokers. Right, I'm just going to have a wee chat with you while I just get my station ready with all of the beads. I've done the before and after as well. These are all size 10 seed beads, apart from the very first part. Now, you can opt out of using the tiny size 15. So if you're new to this, size 15s are the tiniest. I'm sure you could probably get even smaller. I have come across smaller in some vintage ones. But technically, the higher the number, the smaller the bead. Now, if you don't want to use the smaller beads, you can start straight off with the large beads, but the combination of seed beads that I actually use in my demo and in the pattern will be slightly different. Now I'm using a colour that stands out so that you can see it. Also, if you haven't got any bead and wax, this is great. I've got 2 of these left and they're only £2.95. They stop your thread from getting so frayed and they make it easier to work with and easier to thread. Right, let's just see if, oh, there we go. I'm getting your messages now. I've just done a little bit of swiping across. Oh, Francis loves the gold and black diamond. Annette says I'm all clear. Oh dear. Hopefully now my laptop's turned off, it'll be all right. Hello, Kevin. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Annette. Hi, Nora. Apologies if I've already said hi to you. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to tie a couple of double knots at the end. So I just literally, actually triple knot at the end. Okay. And now, even though it comes like this, I would trim off the corners because they get caught and it's so much easier to deal with. So I'm going to swipe away your comments. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to move all of my rubbish out the way. And we'll get cracking. Let's go up. I'm going to try and zoom in as much as I can. So if you haven't worked with bead embroidery before, this is a foundation. So it's like a thick base foundation. The pieces come in 6 by 5 inches and they're £1.50. So you can design your own if you want to. And I've got these printed on there. So this shows you where you stitch your first centre bead. And then these crosses here give you a guideline as to when to switch over your bead colours. So we're going to start on one of the edge of the circles, and then we're going to add, this is a 6mm Czech as a vacuum pearl, and then we're going to go over the other side to the other edge. Now we're going to back stitch, so to do that we're going to push our needle through the hole that we first made, go back through the bead, and this is just going to help secure it, and then take a nosedive down. So what we're going to do first of all, if you can just see inside there is that sparkly bit, those are your size 15s. So start on the printed line and also start on one of these lines here. So the outer circle and a printed line. Now this is a size 10 beading needle. I'm using a beading thread which, for example, Nymo, KO, Fireline. If you've never done it before, use the tip of your needle to put them on. Don't strain your eyesight, particularly with these. Thread those on. Sometimes with the size 15s, because they're so small, they don't always go on your needle. Some of them are slightly made differently, so by picking another one, you'll find that it glides on. So I'm adding 4, and I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more. So I'm adding 4. I'm going to lay that so it snuggles around that bead. And at the end of the 4th bead, I'm going to take a nosedive down. So I'm working in groups of mainly 4. Take a nosedive down. Now, bear with me because that is a little bit slack there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to back stitch into the first hole. Sorry if I went off camera there. Push your needle through those 4 seed beads you just added. And add another 4. Now, obviously, you will need to adjust the final group to fit around the circle. So I would lay your beads around that printed circle line. Back stitch into the previous hole. And then push your needle through those 4 beads just added. So once that is literally all there is to stitching on the foundation. We make a little bit of a variation when we make the dangles. So bring that round, make sure they sit next to each other, take a nosedive down, back stitch. Now, I know there's a lot of you that are really avid, if that's the right word to use, embroiderers, bead embroiderers. So perhaps if you've got any top tips for people that have never tried it before, perhaps you might have a few people with a slight fear factor of trying it. Perhaps you could give some of your top tips in the group. I love the fact that with this group, so I'm just getting that, sorry to go off a tangent, I'm just getting that to fit, and it happens to be 4 beads. But what I love about this group is, I think as someone put, it's such a non-judgmental group where we're here to enjoy jewellery making, and enjoyment is the most important thing. Now, sorry to go off at a tangent again, but we're going to reinforce by pushing your needle all the way round. What that does is it helps to align the beads next to each other. And I was going to say, what I love is the fact that because we've got so many experienced beaders and crafters who all overlap in your expertise, and there's always someone that will come up with some real game changers for ideas, and I love that. And we all see things very differently as well, so as a team we can put together lots of top tips. So I'm just flicking beads everywhere. I've reinforced that all the way around, and I'm going to take a nosedive down. I'm going to make a second row, and I'm going to start about 1 millimetre from the side of the other row and stitch another row of those beads. I can hear my little boy laughing. He is terrible. He listens outside the door sometimes, and then when I've finished, he takes the mick out of me in how I speak and present things. So, and he said, Mum, you know when you're on the craft store next, perhaps if it's during my during when I'm at school, perhaps I can ask if we can all watch it. Not a chance. Having one child take the mickey out of you enough, let alone a class of 30. Oh, not forgetting my partner. Right, I've got 3 on there. Add another one. The reason why I just work in groups of 4 is if you work in anything any bigger, it's going to be a bit like a saggy pair of tights, if I'm honest, because it's not going to really secure it quite as well. Sorry, going off camera there. I think what I'll do now is I'll just zoom out a little bit so that there's less of a tendency for me to actually go off camera. The other thing you could use this particular design for is you can always add these as an embellishment on a bag. You could add it to a key ring to make a bag charm. You could even add it on the zipper of the bag. I've also used these as a decoration at the front of a candle, either an ordinary candle or one of the battery lit candles. So once we get on to the next stage I will zap along a little bit. There we go. And I'm going to skip out the reinforcing, which I would recommend that you do, only really from a speed point of view. So we've got a very small gap there. Now you could ask, why have I used size 15s at the start? I use size 15s at the start really to give it a little bit of glitter, and also it made my patternation even. So I'm going to add 2 seed beads just to complete that. So you would back stitch and then you'd push your needle all the way around, but I'm not going to do that for speed, but it does make a really big difference. All right, so that's step 1. The next step is to actually add the size 10 beads. Now the way I've done these is I've actually got blocks of colours. You don't necessarily have to have blocks of colours, in which case, you know, these lines aren't necessarily relevant to you. It just helps knowing where to position the centre bead. So I'm going to start approximately on the line. In the kit, it gives you guidance as to how many you need per row. But again, I'd work in groups of 4. Now, with Czech seed beads, they will vary slightly in size. So obviously, there will be times when I say use X amount of beads, but it doesn't quite fit. So what I mean by that is you want to actually fit 6 seed beads per block in row 1, and that is perfect because you've got 6 beads. I'll explain a little bit as I go along, but what I would suggest you do is you change your colour in the next bit. Now I only added 2, then I could have added 2 of one colour, 2 of another. So there we go. We're adding a new colour because we're in the next block. You're using the same technique. And then on this one, I'm going to use 2 green and 2 blue because that takes me into the next bit. So you can see the 2 green, 2 blue. It doesn't matter hugely if you find that, say I've said do 6 beads and 6 takes you over into the next block. Adjust it accordingly because obviously you want them really to stay within their block. The only time it's important is when you come to do the dangles at the end. You need to make sure that you pick a particular group that's got 10. So that's just gone marginally over. But do pop me a note in the comments so when I look back I can see whether or not this is making any sense. Tell me if it's new for you as well. I think those of you that have done bead embroidery will probably agree with me that this is a very addictive and beautiful craft. Now, can you see in this last group to fit, I'm going to need 5, not 6. Don't force the 6 because you'll cause it to buckle. Just fit the 5 in. Okay, and then you're going to back stitch and then you're going to push your needle all the way round. Now, I am going to switch over to the bit I did earlier. So can you see how you keep your colours within the lines? So the green is within this block and that block, and the blues within that block. So in the second row, 2, 4, 6, it's generally 8 each block. And in the last row, it's roughly 10. So I'm going to show you how we add these dangle elements now. And using the accent beads. Before we do that, I've kept my thread on here because if you're new to it, I want to show you how you tie off your thread and how you build in a new thread. Bear with me while I just thread my needle. Have a chat amongst yourselves. Perhaps share what you're working on at the minute. Okay, needle threaded. So I'm going to go underneath one of the thread bars and catch a very small amount of the beading foundation. I'm just going to zoom in a bit, like 1 mil, 2 mil tops, and form a loop. But before you pull the loop, go through it and form a knot. Then I would go through to another point, go through a bit of the foundation, and again just going to tie another knot there because that hasn't quite taken. And then you can trim off your tails. I do that in 2 to 3 different places. And I'm going to actually cut that thread off now. In fact, no, I won't. I'll start another piece because I'm going to need quite a lengthy piece. There's loads of thread in the kit. There's plenty for your particular project. Now I think you can either trim your project off now, and I'm going to show you that before we add the tassels on because it's going to be easier for me to do that. So to add in new thread, I've just threaded a new needle, and you just start in the same way, but I'm not going to add it yet. I'm going to show you how to trim this off. Now, I would suggest you trim from the back so that you don't cut into your seed beads. And always have a spare bit of thread with a knot at the bottom just in case you should cut into your needlework and undo your work. All is not lost if you've cut into it. Just keep that at hand. Now I would go in as close as you can. I'd go in a bit closer than that. Take your time because you don't really want much of that showing. And what I would suggest, a really good tip, is if you're doing lots of bead embroidery, is to actually have some permanent markers so that you can colour that white edge in a similar colour to your beads, and then it's not so exposed. So to make the dangle, make sure you choose one of these groups that's definitely got 10 in. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. It doesn't matter whether you go for blue or green, but I think I'm going to go for blue. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So not that one. 4, 6, 8, 10. So we're kind of coming from the back and get my knot to sit. Then we're going to push along to bead number 6 in this group. 2, 4, 6. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so that you can see what I'm doing. And first of all, we're going to make the center dangle because it's so much easier to work from the center out. So all of the details again are in the kit. So I'm going to add 3 and an accent bead, and then I'm going to add 3 green. I'm just going to add these on, and beforehand, before I anchor it, I will show you what I've got. 1, 2, 3. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 groups of alternating colours with an accent bead in between. Bear with me. Obviously you can change that if you want to alter the length. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's my groups of 6 with the accent bead. It's just a silver one in between. I'm going to add another accent bead, a crystal and an accent bead, and pop that on. Now bring that accent, let's just move it up so that you can see it a bit better. Move that accent bead out of the way and pop your needle through the crystal and all the way up. And that little bead at the bottom acts as an anchor so that your thread doesn't just come all the way back out of itself. So come all the way up. Now on the first one, what we do is we actually come out of that one here, and then including that one, 1, 2, you push your needle through, third bead along. Let's just turn that round so that you can see it in the light. Not convinced that that's that clear. Let me just anchor it and show you. So that first one, if I just pull it down, can you see how your bead sits across a few beads? So what we're going to do now is we're going to add another 2 dangles. So we're going to add in the next one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups. 5 groups of block colours with an accent bead in the middle. So that's 3. So each time there's a group shorter. So you see how that will sit. So a group shorter. I'm going to add a crystal, an accent bead again. I have to confess, I may in the pattern work the needle perhaps a bit further along. I honestly can't remember. That's terrible, isn't it? But the principle is exactly the same, and the holes that you go through are exactly the same. So going all the way up. It's when you find it gets attached to absolutely everything. I'm sure you can all relate to that. So what you want to do now is anchor it the other side. So I've come out of the left side of this bead and I'm going in at the right side. Very difficult to do on camera, I can tell you. And then I'm going through that one and the next one. Don't over pull it, because if you over pull it, you'll get it looking a bit wonky donkey. So that's where we're at the moment. So I'm going to make the last one is a group of 4. So I say 4 groups of alternating colours. Get my teeth around that. So I think that's 4 there. So as you can see, it goes up a gradient every time. Add a crystal. And then miss the last bead. How are we doing for time? Right, I'm going to have to turn it to face me because I can't see what I'm doing. Off camera again, sorry. So come all the way up to the top. And then you find it gets stuck around all of your tassels. Just make sure that's tight. And then I'm going to go from, so I've come out the left side of the bead, and I'm going to go from the right and just along a couple of beads. So there you've got one side. So you would repeat the same. So I'd be inclined to go down the back and then come back up. Push your needle through all of these that you've just worked. Until you come out of the bead next to the one that you worked at the center. All right, so I'm just going to do a little bit more because we are very nearly finished. Let's just zoom out. So what you would do, I'll talk you through it because I'm just conscious of perhaps it not being that exciting to watch the same little bit. So you would repeat the same, doing that length this side, and you would come back up and you'd go through the left side of the bead and through two, and then you'd make that one. Just to finish off, you would make this little bail, and all you do for the bail is you push your needle, so when you finish your dangles, push your needle all the way round, you add 6 beads and you skip over 2. So basically you want to add them in the center. Let's just close up on that. And then obviously you add the jump ring and your chain, which is all included afterwards. Now for the backing, that's all included. All you're going to need is a dab of glue. I would suggest E6000. I'm not sure if a glue gun works on this particular foundation, but try it on a test piece first. So that is how you complete it. Now let me just zoom in on your earrings. So what I've done for the earrings is I've gone straight in on these and used size 10s all the way round, but just used a shorter dangle. So I've got 1, 2, so we've got 4 groups in the center one, then 2 lots of 3 colours. Now you see this edging, that's called brick stitch, and there is a video on YouTube on how to do that. Let me show you the difference. So this one, this gold one, is without brick stitch, and the gold one, so this one is without brick stitch and that one is with it. So I have already got a tutorial on that one as well. So if you were going to use it as a bag charm, like for example these, you would just add your jump ring and then you'd add that onto there, which I think they would make really pretty little bag charms or key rings. And I think that's it. So I'm going to zoom back out and show you what the giveaway is and see how you found that. Right, should do online Zoom. I don't know where that's come from, that comment, because I haven't seen it. I'll have to have a look afterwards. June said she'd need one of those backdrops like on the ad and much better broadband. I lost you with the last move. Did you mean you lost track from what I was showing, or that there was a problem with the video? Sharon's asking, if we edge with brick stitch, do you do that after adding the dangles? Yes, do that after adding the dangles. It's, to be honest, I suppose it doesn't matter, because you can just drop the tassels and just carry on underneath with the brick stitch. Nora loves the earrings. June likes the brick stitch edging, and it hides a multitude of mistakes. It certainly does. Can I show us how to do brick stitch around the piece? Yes, of course. I will start it off, and then hopefully you will, I hope I can remember how to do it. Terrible, isn't it? Do you know, sometimes I forget how to do my own patterns. I have to look at what I've done. Kay likes the tutorial, thank you. Oh, my mum says very helpful for when I make mine. Oh, good. I can't remember, what colour did I give you, Mum? Oh, Betty lost track. Okay, Betty, let me know in a messenger which bit, and I can always send you a little video of that bit. Annette likes the tutorial, so did Kevin. Oh, hi Lucy. Lydia likes brick stitch edging as well. Brilliant. Now pretend we have our backing on here. Oh, I should brick stitch edging on the one that I've got a backing on. Right, bear with me. Bear with me. I'm going to try and attempt to do a bit of brick stitching. Oh, same as the one I demoed. One of our colours, Mum, isn't it? The amount of times me and my mum get together and we're both wearing the same colours. Right, let me zoom in. I'm only going to show you a little bit, but we're still okay for time. And then I'll show you the giveaway. So this is a finished piece. It's got all the bits and pieces. What I would suggest for brick stitch is that you tie a knot, and you have your knot at the front, and push your needle through the back so that you're kind of coming out towards the top. We'll cut this off after. Choose whichever colour. You can change it as you're going. So I'm choosing 2 beads. So you add 2 beads to begin with, and you're going to lay those around the edge like so. You see that? And then I'm going to take a nosedive just down the end where those 2 beads sit. I think you can see that. Okay, so you always start with 2, and then I'm going to come up from the back just about 1 mil away from where you were, and I'm going to come up through that seed bead. So effectively what you're doing is you're stitching on the side. All right, so I'm adding another seed bead. I'm going to line that along the edge, and I'm going to take a nosedive down from the end of the bead, so I'm going through both foundation. Okay, I'm going to actually stitch from the back about 1 mil away from where the thread is coming out of, and I'm going under and up through that bead that you've just added. Right, so let's just see that. So you see how they sit on the side. So you add another bead. Let's see if I can get a close up. Hold it on the side. Take a nosedive down, front to back. Try not to stab myself. Okay. Just move about 1 mil from where your thread is so that you don't undo it. Go up and under. Probably the best thing to do is to come through it and then under and up. I'll do one more and then I'll come back to you. You see how that's coming along? So when you finish, you'll go through this last one and that'll flatten it down. I know there's different techniques, but that's the technique that I follow for brick stitch. So laying it across, go down, probably the easiest thing to do. So when you're coming up, oops, under and up. It's a good idea to use a kind of a matching thread as well. So you see how that comes out, and then you end up with something like this. So it's pretty neat. Just edges it nicely. Right, let's come back to you. So we've got lots of love for the pendants, which is great news. Sharon said once she realised that the holes ended up on the outside, brick stitch was much easier. Yes, good tip. So there we go. So tonight's giveaway, to enter, you just need to make sure you thumbs up. Please thumbs up on the post because I might miss you, and pop a note in the comments. So what I've got for the giveaway tonight is lots of beads. So we've got a 4mm bead strand. That's kind of like an orangey gold, a gunmetal, glass beads, 8mm, like a golden ivory, 6mm pink, a white ivory 8mm, a gold 8mm, and some spacer beads as well. So as always, what I'll do is I'll pop all of your names into a little random wheel spinner, and I will pin your name with a description of the post at the top so that you know whether you've won or not. Now I can see there's actually a delay even in what I'm seeing on here, so I do apologise if it's not been very clear tonight. I'm glad you've enjoyed that. Sharon's just saying, if you're going to brick stitch, don't take the glue all the way to the edge or you won't get your needle through. Good tip, Sharon. Perfection, Kevin, oh bless you. Thanks for showing that. I needed it for the bee. Oh, glad that helped. Trisha said, a lovely giveaway. Beads are always welcome. I know, you can use them for everything, can't you? Oh, you're very welcome. Betty says, thank you for a great tutorial and for explaining the brick stitch. Thank you from Nora. Have a great evening. You too, Lydia. Thank you, Kevin, Tracy, Betty, June. Thank you all for joining, and I hope you enjoyed that. All of the kits and all the bits and pieces should be in the thread, but do message me if you're stuck on anything. Take care, and I'll see you Sunday. Bye.